Squad, welcome back to InhaleGamesHQ. You can call me COMM, and today we're diving beneath the surface here for Apex Legends Season 14, Hunted. Definitely make sure to check out the cards above though for the surface video where we talk about the new legend a little bit more in depth, the map changes, as well as the level cap increase to tier 3, so level 500 3 times, and the battle pass flexibility, just giving us a lot at the surface. But for balance updates, bug fixes, legend and weapon tweaks, this is the video for you, and I appreciate you for stopping by. Leave a like if you gain any intel, and let's dive beneath the surface. Starting simply with the map rotation, we have Kings Canyon, World's Edge, and Storm Point. Some changes though for the maps. On all of them, the replicators and crafting materials have been rebalanced, and some ring adjustments have been made. So for Ring 1, the damage increased from 2 to 3 HP per tick. Ring 1, the pre-shrink time decreased from 180 seconds to 60 seconds. And ring close times adjusted, as you can see here on the screen. Kings Canyon from 410 to 432, World's Edge 342 to 432, Storm Point 415 to 435, and Olympus 410 to 432. The biggest note is that 1 minute change to World's Edge, allowing you just a lot more time to choose your rotation, pick your loot, and not necessarily have to rush that city. You have a whole extra minute before that first ring's even gonna close. Just for World's Edge though, for map changes, they removed some frustrating final rings at staging that were causing heal-offs. Fragment East loot was buffed from low tier to medium, and they added OOB to West Rocks at Lava Siphon. They did some calculations for max tier distributions among players, but I'm definitely more keen on the changes. They made a lot last season that got a mixed feedback, and so I was interested to see what they would follow it up with, but we only see a few changes for this season. So for Season 14, Ranked, you're going to have a +5 to all entry cost fees. Kill RP changes, they've removed the diminishing returns entirely on eliminations. As for the ranked reset though, there is no change, and they're resuming ranked reset of 6 divisions. Diving deeper now, squad, as we reach the balance updates, we get a new attachment. I know you've seen it going around, potentially the laser sight. It's to replace barrels for SMGs and pistols, and alongside reduce the hipfire spread. Squad, for the crate rotation, you've also probably heard the G7s returning to the floor, as well as the Volt, and sadly our bow check and rampage are going into the crate, and with that we'll see some weapon tweaks to them. The crafting rotation sees the wingman return to the floor, and some interesting changes there. The car SMG returns to the floor, but the Devotion LMG into the crafter alongside with the RE45 hammer point combination. Like I said, we'll see the weapon changes a little bit later to those having to, come back onto the floor or go into their crates because they get buffed or nerfed, accordingly. But the gold weapon rotation brings the Longbow DMR, G7 Scout, Mozambique, R99, and Hemlock into play Season 14. We're going to see an entire nerf to SMGs and assault rifles, specifically their hipfire spread, as you can see here, has been increased. The EVA 8 gets some special changes, recoil improvements. It now takes stocks. They've removed 1 pellet from the blast pattern. The fire rate has been increased to 2.3 from 2.0. The pellet damage increased to 7 from 6. And the bolt rate of fire bonuses have been increased as well. As you can see, the white same 1.1 to 1.1, but the blue 1.15 to 1.2, and the purple 1.2 to 1.3. As we get into those weapons that we're getting in and out of crafters or crates, we're looking first at the bow check. The damage at full draw increased to 70 from 60. The tempo draw speed increased to 0.38 from 0.32. The Shadowcat pellet damage increased to 12 from 11. The fired arrows though can no longer be collected, and the arrow spawns have been removed from the floor. So you're just going to get the shots that you have. They're going to be doing more damage. So hopefully the bow check's going to be still sitting in a nice spot for those of you that are archers. Looking at the rampage though, LMG, or as I like to call them, the Dragons, one of my old favorites before all the nerfs. The Rampage, though, going back into the crate, sees its damage going back up to 28 from 26. The Rampage is also going to come loaded with a Thermite Grenade, so ready to charge, doing more damage. We'll see people still picking up this LMG and beaming people down with it. Speaking of a gun that beams, the Volt SMG is also coming back, so its damage was reduced to 15 from 17. Of course, it's no longer a red weapon, but it's going to be fun to have back, as well as the Car SMG, but it's no longer going to take barrel attachments, and as well these SMGs getting that nerf to their hip fire. The G7, though, coming back with the damage reduction to 34 from 36, a headshot multiplier reduction to 1.75 from 2, as well as the double tap hop-up burst fire delay. It's been increased to 0.4 from 0.375. Some additional weapon changes, though, include the L-Star. We see an increased projectile speed, an increased number of shots before it overheats, up to 24 from 20, and they removed the bright red flash when hitting non-armored targets. The RE45, they increased the iron sight field of view to 70 to be consistent with other pistols, as well as the strafe speed by 5% to be consistent with other pistols. The most interesting change, however, to a pistol is the wingman. It's now going to be using sniper ammo and magazines. Some changes to sniper ammo, though. We're going to get increased stacks to 28 from 24, and ammo per box now contains 14 rounds instead of 12. Another weapon switching the ammo and magazine type that it's using is the Spitfire, so now using light ammo and magazines, as well as getting an increased vertical barrel climb. Interesting changes to the meta here as we see it shift in favor of the 30-30 now being able to take skull piercing rifling and having dual loader built into the base of the 30-30 repeater. We're also going to see the Mastiff have some changes. The projectile growth has been reduced. The base rate of fire has been reduced to 1.1 from 1.2, and the dual loader has been removed. The Sentinel sees Deadeye's tempo actually worked into the base of the Sentinel, and that wraps up the weapon changes. Looking now at the equipment, starting with the hop-ups, we have the double tap, which adds the burst fire mode to EVA 8 and G7 Scout, and the Skull Piercer coming back into play, given that 35% headshot damage increase to longbows, the Wingman, and now the 30-30 repeater. They've actually removed Deadeye's tempo and shatter caps completely from floor loot, and made boosted loader reduced in quality, down from legendary to just an epic hop-up. As we move on to the gold backpack, you may have heard that it's going to be getting a new perk called Deep Pockets. Deep Pockets is going to allow the large medical supplies to stack higher in your inventory, so batteries and medkits now stacked to 3, and Phoenix kits now stacked to 2. They've given that old backpack perk to the knockdown shield though, and remove self-revive entirely, so knockdown shields are going to get the Guardian Angel perk, and again self-revive removed from the game. Very interesting there. Looking at our arc stars, they've reduced the stick damage on armor to 10 from 40, and removed the aim slow on stick, but it remains on detonation. The detonation damage, however, has also been increased to 75 from 70. We're going to see explosive holds get some changes. They've added blue attachments to possible spawns, added laser sights into the pool, of course, as the new attachment, and they've reduced the spawn rate of gold magazines. Now we dive a bit deeper, squad, into the legend changes. We have quite a few that have quite a few changes, so let me know down below what legend you main, or if you're looking forward to maybe maining Vantage this season. And again, don't forget to leave a like if you've gained any intel so far, but let's continue here, starting with Valkyrie. The VTOL jets acceleration on activation have been decreased by about 8%. The fuel consumption on activation has been increased by 33. Aerial boosting and strafing takes 20% debuff when hit by slowing effects. They've added a third orange state of fuel meter in the user interface between the green and the red, so you kind of know when you're at medium. The missile swarm changes, the aim/turn slow removed. The move slow duration decreased from 2.5 to 2, and they've reducing the explosion radius from 175 to 125. The skyward dive also sees some changes, the height reduction of 25%, as well as the launch time reduction from 5.5 to 5 seconds. Coupled with the height reduction, players in Valk Alt now travel upward at a slightly slower speed. Another legend to see a lot of changes, he was a newer legend, was Newcastle. Looking at Retrieve the Wounded, they've increased move speed during revive by 25%, reduced turn slow while reviving by 50%, increased white knockdown shield health from 150 to 200, and blue knockdown shield health from 250 to 300. His mobile shield has an increased HP from 350 to 500, and they've doubled the max movement speed. Looking at his castle wall, they've added turn slow to the electrical barrier effects and increased the severity of the slow effects to movement. Looking at Mad Maggie now, the riot drill projectile launch speed has been doubled, and her wrecking ball is going to travel twice as far while dropping the same amount of magnets. The duration increased from 5 to 10 seconds, and the magnet spawn delay increased from 0.4 to 0.8, so they're going to be kind of dropping more sparingly, but it's going to get you further, faster, and the wrecking ball will now be dealing damage to placeable objects like black markets, Gibby bubbles, death totems, etc. Lastly, they fixed wrecking ball to not blind and slow enemies. Some other legends to see some changes are Horizon, her black hole adjustment to Newt's hitbox, destroying it more reliable, as well as it taking 50% more damage from explosives. Watson, they made some improvements to perimeter security placement systems. Rampart now ignores friendly collision on armed cover placement, so placing walls around teammates should feel more smooth. Caustic, they fixed gas ramping bug where transitioning from friendly to enemy gas would initially damage for more than intended. Mirage decoys will now be scanned by Velk when skydiving. Mirage decoys will now be picked up by Seer's Heartseeker, and they fixed a bug where Mirage decoys were picked up by Seer's Exhibit as AI and not players. Lastly, we see Revenant get a death totem to now let you actually preview your placement instead of just immediately placing it. So you're going to be able to pull out your totem and see kind of your range, almost like a Loba market, and actually get to decide where in cover you want to place it, or maybe you didn't want to place it and accidentally hit your alt button. Now you can properly cancel it and choose to continue to push the fight. Before our list of bug fixes, we do have some overall changes and updates to the crafting, so let's quickly look at those. When players interact with the material harvesters, all players in their team are now going to be given those materials, so you no longer have to be running to each barrel individually. That's going to just save some time and allow people to, encourage people to start crafting more. They've removed the shatter rounds from crafting, removed hammer points from base crafting because it's added to the RE45 and in the weapon crate only. The heavy, energy, and sniper magazine prices have been increased to 35 from 25. The laser sight has been added to crafting as well for 25 materials. The stock and barrel prices have been reduced to 25 from 35, as we see some weapons not even taking them anymore. They've added Skull Piercer rifling hop-up to crafting, as well as the double tap trigger hop-up to crafting, and the kinetic feeder hop-up to crafting. They increased the shotgun bolt price to 30 from 25, and reduced the 2 to 4 ACOG or ACOG optic price to 30 from 35. Looking at some quality of life changes, a new mode/map name in the user interface element on the load screen and start flow has been added. A winning and champion tag have been added on the scoreboard. They've added the ability to use tap interact prompts when they conflict with hold interact prompts, most notably being when you're just trying to get that reload off to finish that kill, but instead it puts you into that revive animation. And so hopefully that's going to happen less, just be a lot more reliable, specifically to those on controller. They've added a flourish to crafting materials in the top right of the HUD when they increase, and added a flourish to items if they become craftable while in the crafting station UI. They added accessibility switch for turning on and off text to speech, defaulting to what your consular system has set, so double check if you need to. and when dropping from the dropship, the location of the point of interest player lands in is now displayed. That's going to bring us though into the last list, the bug fixes. So if you're still with me, I won't take up much more of your time, and much love to you for being here. Let's get into it. The hipfire reticles now change size based on the field of vision. They fixed a bug where cancelling a lifeline revive would cancel it for other teammates also being revived by lifeline. They fixed a bug where players could not deal melee damage to caustic gas barrels or octane jump pads. Fixed an issue where the buy menu would close each time a teammate completes a purchase and or closes the buy menu. Crypto's ultimate now destroys Watson's pylons. Fixed an issue where Crypto's heirloom animation audio would play globally when using a survey beacon. Fixed for issues where players could sometimes get stuck while crouched between a replicator and a black market after crafting. Fixed a bug where players could not unlock the fully kitted badge. Fixed for an issue where legends were losing functionality like meleeing and other abilities when mantling. Fixed a bug where players could not switch ammo types on the car SMG. Looking at Newcastle, a few fixes for him, starting with a fix for issue where he would get stuck in his ultimate animation when riding a zip line. They fixed a bug where throwables placed on a mobile shield would start to float away after the mobile shield disappeared, as well as ability throwables would be lasting and floating there when the shield had disappeared, so that has been fixed. And they also fixed a case where players would take damage from ordnance or active caustic barrels when positioned between a tactical shield and its drone. Looking at Wraith, they fixed a bug where Wraith would still take damage in the ring while phasing. They fixed a bug for the reload of the Mastiff and the 30-30 repeaters, where players could not ADS until reloading animation was finished. They fixed a bug where Crypto's melee animations wouldn't show his heirloom while in third person. Vending machines in Big Mod now have buyer's protection. They fixed an issue that could cause some stuttering and frame rate spikes on consoles, especially the PS5 and Xbox Series XS. They fixed a bug for the dropship that would sometimes spawn players outside the ship. They fixed a bug where the heat shields would disappear when placed under a respawn or mobile respawn beacon and then the beacon was used. They also fixed a bug where Pathfinder's zipline would be destroyed if it was placed under a respawn beacon and the beacon was used. They also fixed when heat shields would disappear when set under a respawn beacon and activated. And lastly, a fix for a bug where Mirage decoys would not show up on a scan for a few legends. So that's going to be it for the bug fixes and everything here for Beneath the Surface of Season 14 Hunted. Let me know if those bug fixes were affecting you or if you're excited for some of the quality of life improvements and weapon and legend balances. Overall, from the surface to beneath the surface, I say we're in for a good season. For more Apex intel, highlights, or music, that's right, we got our second rap battle underway. Feel free to subscribe or check out the cards. But as always, squad, stay safe, stay gaming, and I'll see you in the next one. COMMsOut.